You know when you start a job and you think, I'll have this knocked off in half an hour, easy. But in actual fact it ends up taking you all week? No? Just me? Oh, alright then. Well, phase 1 of the build is now complete and it's absolutely transformed the look of the Grom. Alright, it didn't actually take me an entire week to install everything from TST Industries, just a couple of afternoons, but I did encounter a few things that I didn't expect which stumped me along the way, which isn't hard to be honest. If you didn't catch the last video, then here is what you get included with the TST Hyperpack that I'm going to be fitting to the bike today. Flush mount indicators with some extra wiring, a fender eliminator to smooth out the underside of the seat, a new thinner rear light with integrated indicators, a Toce or Toce exhaust system, however you pronounce it, and some other bits and bobs like relays, brackets and lights to sort out the indicators and mount the license plate at the back. I didn't know whether or not to make this vid into a step-by-step guide, but TST Industries and a few other creators have already uploaded some really detailed installation videos here on YouTube. So instead of covering every single nut and bolt, I'll just breeze through it fairly quickly, highlighting some key points and bits that might not have been mentioned elsewhere. If you have any questions at the end of the video, just pop them down in the comments and I'll get back to you. Now, you can start at either end of the bike, there's no particular order that you need to do this installation in. I started at the back by removing the old, well, it's essentially still new, R&G tail tidy. You've got to take the seat off to gain access to the majority of the nuts and fasteners, so just make sure you put that seat somewhere that the dog can't pee on it, because that was my first mistake. Nice. Luckily, I've still got some of my gear from Amplify Detailing to clean it all down with. I'll stick a link down in the description, as well as a discount code for you guys to use at checkout. Anyway, once the tail tidy was out the way, I knew it was a case of hacking away at the back end of the bike with a hacksaw to gain access to the tip sensor. Some people use a Stanley knife to do this, but I forgot to buy some new blades for mine like the idiot that I am. I would have had more luck cutting it with a cheese string than that thing, to be honest. Now I know what you're going to ask, and the answer is yes. You do have to do this if you've bought the Hyperpack, because you need to relocate the tip sensor under the seat so that the fender eliminator and the exhaust can fit properly. If you're worried about messing it up, just remember that all the new plastics will be covering up any scratches that you'll make here. And when it comes to selling the bike and the mods, which isn't going to happen in my case, but you know, you might, it's only about £13 for a new OEM piece, which in the grand scheme of things isn't a lot. Quick thing to mention as well, if your bike has ABS, you'll be sent a different bracket to mount the sensor over the battery, so make sure you click the right option when buying the pack if you're planning on doing it. After that, it was just a case of bolting on the fender eliminator and feeding the new relight in. I opted to go for a smoked rear just because I think it goes a bit nicer with the darker plastics, but you can pick other options too. Once all that was plugged back in, I switched the ignition on just to give it a little test, and all the LEDs illuminated, as they should. The indicator won't flash just yet because I need to install the relay, which is located on the front end of the bike. I was going to try and bosh this off in one day, but the smell of barbecues and a text from the girlfriend saying beer's in the fridge meant I had to call it a day. So I'll pick up where I left off. I needed to change the relay behind the headlight, and also while the front end is detached, I'll swap out the OEM indicators for the TST flush mounts. It takes a bit of wiggling to get the white shroud off either side of the light assembly, but I eventually got there. It's a simple nut and bolt job after that to swap out the front indicators. You don't have to keep anything from the original blinkers, so it's a case of throwing all that to one side and installing the new ones straight out the bag. Rather than smoked fronts, I've gone for the clear ones, just because I think they'll stand out a bit more when I eventually come to wrap the bike. After all that's reassembled, you need to fit the harness converters to either indicator. Yellow to yellow, black to black, and tape it up. Job's a good one. Just had to do another test to make sure everything was A-OK before bolting the entire assembly back to the front end of the bike. And yeah, they're maybe not as bright as the standard ones, but they look much nicer. When I was having a few bevies the night before, I realised that I hadn't drilled out the fender eliminator to accommodate fitting the exhaust. No biggie, but you only have to drop out a few bolts and you can do it while it's still attached to the bike. Presumably it's because they sell this piece by itself, and if you don't want the undertail exhaust, you'd need bigger bolts, and they'd just look out of place. Just be careful when drilling these out though. ABS can be a bit of a twat, and the last thing you want to do is snap anything. If the drill bit starts to bite, just spin the drill in reverse and bore it out slowly. God, I actually sound like I know what I'm doing. If you haven't guessed it by now, then yep, I did another test fit, but this time with the cannons before refitting the plastics around the arse end of the seat. Now it's time to get rid of that hideous exhaust. There's a holding bolt in the rear set, one just behind it, and two nuts securing the downpipe. I wasn't expecting a bike that's only done 84 miles to give me any issues, but one of the studs decided it wanted to come on an adventure with a nut, and guess what? I'm fresh out of Loctite, so he'll have to wait for another day to get anchored back in place for good. Apart from that though, the exhaust flew together. I will be removing this and painting the down and mid pipe matte black later on down the line, but it all went together perfectly. You just have to figure out some angles when feeding it through the swing arm. Before I turn the bike over though, and let you listen to the Toce exhaust system for the first time, here's what the bike sounded like with a standard can fitted to it. It's nothing special, is it? Anyway though, this is the Toce. Honestly, a little bit weak came out. It sounded absolutely mega. The pops and bangs weren't even picked up by this microphone, so I'll have to dig out a proper external mic from the loft. Overall though, I'm well chuffed with how the bike looks so far. The flush mount indicators look a million times better than those great big stalks that were on it from factory, and the combo of the exhaust and the new setup at the back just takes it to a whole other level. But I'm not stopping here, and there are plenty more things to get done to this bike, and hopefully, while I'm doing that, the rest of the pieces will turn up in the meantime. I hope you enjoyed the video. It'd be much appreciated if you dropped it a like if you did. Sub to the channel if you're new and want to see more stuff like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!